Okay, you're here to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fans. I'm excited to talk about them because they have Connor McJesus. And so I'm excited to talk about them because, they're a stacked team and they should win a Stanley Cup. I think if Connor McDavid goes his whole career without a Stanley Cup, that is a disservice to the hockey world. And so I want to go over some of my views on what they should be doing. And like what some of the good moves are, the trade deadline. So looking at right here, they're gonna have to waive someone already. They're already over the cap. Thankfully it's only just that little bit. So they're probably gonna waive one of these people, probably just like a forward or something like that, like one of these smaller contracts, like Connor. I don't know if they can do Connor Brown because I think he might end up getting claimed. So just one of these smaller, like one of the smaller ones. Even one of these guys, they probably send down. They want to send down Dylan Holloway. Yeah, or they probably can even waive Derek Ryan because he's so much older. But I think they want to keep him because he's going to be on the fourth line, probably fourth line. Anyways, that's what we're going over right now. So, one thing I did want to review is their goaltending because that is one of the biggest flaws. Their defense, they did do some good job with the defense, picking up Ekblad. But I did want to go over their Stanley Cup issue right now and what we were seeing in the playoffs. So with the Edmonton Oilers, I looked up their record right here. So if we zoom in right here, you can see their record. Their record right here. So this is against the Vegas Golden Knights, and so this is where the important one because against LA there's some OTs which they definitely should have gone OT, but goaltending was their biggest flaw here, right? And when it was on, it was freaking on against Vegas, right? Look at this. Against these two games, only one goal allowed. That was huge. I don't know who played in those games, but that is huge. It's exactly what you want to be seeing. And that's exactly what you need when you have someone that's like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl who can just put the puck in the net at will practically. But those were the biggest issues with them. Is that so when they lost, they really lost 6 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals. Like it was big losses that they lost with, and it's goaltending and defense, which is not their strong suits. And so going over their numbers, which is really interesting. Going over to Jack Campbell, his numbers right here in the regular season with Edmonton, right here, 36 games, 3.41 goals in and .888. For a guy you're paying $5 million, that is not okay. That is absolutely not okay. But for the playoffs, man, he was, look at this, on fire. 4 games, 1.02 goals in, and then a .961. That is exactly what you want to see. But he didn't play all the time, and which is one of the issues is that when you have when you had a goalie like that, like you need to be able to play him a little more. If you look over Stuart Skinner's numbers, much better playoffs. Like he played the majority of the season, 50 games, 2.75 goals against, a .914. That's a great goals save average, right? But in the playoffs, playing 12 games, I think he was just overworked, and he had 3.68 goals in, and then a .883. Gee, that's essentially they swapped numbers. Like they swapped numbers. Campbell played phenomenal in the playoffs, but it wasn't enough, right? So that's the one issue that I'm really seeing with the Edmonton Oilers, and is the goaltending and some of their defense. Defense is not amazing, but we'll go over that. Let's just go over the lines real quick. I think everyone's pretty familiar with the lines because you're going to see. People that it's Canada. It's a Canadian team, so everyone's talking about this. So, but Hyman, Connor McDavid, Hyman and McDavid. Great, amazing. They have Connor Brown up here. Daily Faceoff does, which is interesting because he only played 4 games. I'm actually want to go over his contract, which I have right here. Connor Brown is only being paid $775. However, that does cap it. But however, he played only 4 games with the Washington Capitals last year, didn't record any points. So that's why they're concerned. Like, we don't want to sign you to like a fully. We want to keep you around if you can play, but we're not sure if you're going to play because you're injured and everything. So we got to make sure you make the team. So what they did is they had his cap is only this much, but he can get played. He gets paid 3.225 million if he plays 10 games, right? So and what ends up happening is that this cap hit gets pushed on to next year. So that is one stipulation right there. So I believe that is how it goes. I think it gets pushed to next season. So correct. If you're in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. So, what I think is really interesting. So, I think that is where you're going to see some of the issues of like him playing on the first line. I don't think he will, because again, it goes down to health. So, and then you have Nugent Hopkins, monster year. Draisaitl, Evander Kane, phenomenal. Kane was injured at one point, I believe. Matisse, Marcus re-signed. I mean, these are great, all great players. I actually like the Lane Peterson pickup. I was a big fan of him when he played for the San Jose Sharks. And actually, let's go over. My apologies. This one's a little bit all over the place because there's a lot going on. I really want to talk about the playoffs. So let's go over some of the things that they did. They re-signed Derek Ryan. They re-signed Matthias Janmark. Again, picking up Lane Peterson, Connor Brown. Like we just mentioned before, letting a couple guys go. Oscar Clefbaum, a couple of guys who they're re-signed McLeod, which is good. Re-signed Evan Bouchard to a bridge deal, and Brandon Sutter and Sam Gagne to camp. Brandon Sutter hasn't played in the NHL in 2 years, so we'll see if anything ends up happening there. And I love Sam Gagne. I love when he played with the Red Wings, so hopefully he makes the team. I don't know if there's gonna be room, but hopefully he ends up getting signed somewhere because I think he deserves to play. He's a great player, so. I'm going over the trade acquisitions, and I want to go back over to what happened with at the trade deadline. They did move off of Jesse Puljujärvi, send him to the Canes, just move him off. Essentially, the capped up in this case, just giving him an opportunity to play somewhere. I don't believe he signed it either, which is it's a bummer. So, and then picking up Matisse Ekholm, I think they'll actually gonna have him for 3 more years, which is awesome. That's another first round pick, and Tyson Barrie as well as a Reed Schaefer, another first round pick. That's a lot of money, but you are getting him for so many years, so I think I can see why they're saying they had to spend so much to get rid of him. So all these guys, they were gone at the trade deadline. But the interesting one I thought was really cool was the Red Wings picked up. Red Wings wanted Klim Kostin, and so to get that they had to take on Kyler Yamamoto's contract, and they're like, okay. I was like, oh, cool. I'm a Red Wings fan, so I'm like, all right, give Kyler Yamamoto an opportunity. He gets crapped on a lot in Edmonton. Klim Kostin, great depth guy. So I'm like, all right, this would be great. And then Red Wings ended up buying out Kyler Yamamoto, and he ended up signing with the Seattle Kraken, which is actually where he's from. So, but for the Edmonton Oilers, it was just a cap dump for them. So that's what it is, right? Now, again, I'm gonna go over to look at that. It actually looks like Cat Friendly also has Connor Brown playing on that first line with them. So, I mean, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. That's interesting. They have Connor Brown and Kane playing up on the top. I disagree with that. I think Connor Brown's not going to get, no. Zach Hyman's, these are wrong. So, we're going to go back to Daily Faceoff because Hyman's going to play on top. I mean, Nugent Hopkins going to play in the second line. This makes more sense right here. Let Kane play with Draisaitl and Hopkins. I think I agree with this one. But I am going to use the depth charts on Cat Friendly just go over some points. I mean, Connor McJesus 1.83 points per game. Crazy minutes, right? I mean, look at this: 153 points, 104 points, 128 points. I mean, this is a bulk of what everything's happening right here. I mean, even Hyman's over a point a game, right? And hopefully Connor Brown can jump into that mix as well. Again, you're not going to get a ton of production out of these bottom lines just because they're playing a lot less minutes. So that 14 minutes and look at these guys, two under 10 minutes, dude. That is that's not playing a lot. I think Dylan Holloway will have to step up into his role, and I think that's kind of why you have Matthias Janmark for another year, just to play with them and kind of fill that role for the third line while Dylan Holloway kind of develops a little more. And then he can take his place on the third line next season. So great forwards. There's nothing else to say about it. You don't need to talk about it anymore, honestly. So then you have the Darnell Nurse contract. 43 points in 82 games is not what we want to see out of a $9.2 million defenseman. We need to see those points go up. But it's not no ifs, ands, or buts. It needs to come up, right? Cody Ceci playing more of that offensive role. Good. Like this. I mean, that pairing's fine. Matisse Ekholm, again, just recently traded. Good offense and defense. I think that's a good pickup. I think that's the one that's going to be help him solidify a little bit better of a spot. And now he's got some time to get used to the systems and everything, as well as Evan Bouchard, who is going to be a monster. Man, I think that this pairing right here with Matisse Ekholm and Evan Bouchard is going to be great. I'm super excited about it. I think Evan Bouchard is going to be a star. He's going to get paid. So he just got his 2-year contract, but in 2 years, I think he's going to be an $8 million guy, no problem. I think he played phenomenally well in the playoffs. Let's go to his. And by the way, talking about playing in the playoffs, Leon Draisaitl still led the goals. I think he was one less goals than the leader, Marchenko, not Marchenko. Anyways, the guy who won, who had the most goals in the playoffs, but Leon Draisaitl was there, only missed by 1 goal, and he was out in the second round. That's how well he played. So, but Evan Bouchard just a young guy playing really well. 17 points in 12 games. I mean, what a monster! I mean, that is for a guy who I think he's like 21 years old. I mean, it's something stupid like that. 23. So he's coming to his own, 23 years old, but that's still young, man. He's still got time to develop, which is exciting. So Brett Kulak and Desharnais, that's fine. I mean, Desharnais is going to be your grinder. He's going to be your your less productive Evander Kane, unfortunately. So, but again, this is just third line pairing. So, but I mean, I think Philip Broberg, again, he's got to develop. He's got a bit more development to do. I think he ended up taking one of those third pairing spots from Kulak and Desharnais. We'll see, man. And I get Lane Peterson, big fan of him. So hopefully he can get slide in a little bit as your 13th forward. So, but again, like we talked about at the start, your biggest concern is going to be the goalies. So the goalies are going to be huge. And I think we're going to just need to see a bigger year out of Darnell Nurse. I think, again, Bouchard's going to have a great year. Ekblad's going to have a great year. But Nurse is really one where you need to see him significantly get better in defensive position. And you need consistent goaltending. If you can get average goaltending by Stewart and Campbell, they will fly into the playoffs, probably be first in their division. Honestly, probably could be first in the division with just average goaltending. So that's all they need. Just average, getting a .906, right? Whatever it is, just something average, and then Edmonton can be a powerhouse. I think they can be Stanley Cup champions in this case. I think it's going to be I think Dallas is going to be a huge contender here. I think Edmonton's going to be as well. I'm a little skeptical of, I think maybe Colorado as well, but I'm concerned with Landeskog being out all year. But I could see Edmonton taking the number 1 spot in the Vegas too. So, I mean, they got a lot of competition. But the thing is you can see with Dallas and Vegas, they have goalies. They have Thompson. So, Vegas is Thompson. And what's the other guy? Aiden Hill. Aiden Hill, come on. I loved him when he was with the Coyotes. I loved him when he was with San Jose, and now he's with Vegas. And then, of course, you have Ottinger and Wedgwood. I mean, Ottinger's a monster in Dallas. He had an amazing playoff against Calgary as 2 years ago. I mean, again, so you need good goaltending. And for a guy, when you're paying a guy like Campbell $5 million, you have to perform, right? I mean, you're seeing that with Bob out in Florida. He had a $10 million contract. And, if he's not producing average, it is a train wreck, right? And so you're only making $5 million a year. You need just expect average. You just need average, right? So let's see if they can really earn his contract that he just got after leaving Toronto, and we'll see. Let me know what your thoughts are, Edmonton fans, you Oiler fans, you slippery beasts. So hit like, subscribe, comment, and catch up with you later. Love you.